If you like watching the news and improving your English, this is the perfect channel for you. My name is Brent. I've been an English teacher in the United States for over 20 years. And today we are going to talk about a tragic incident that happened in our nation's capital, Washington, D.C., where a man who was originally from Afghanistan shot two National Guardsmen. Sarah Beckstrom, she was 20 years old. Unfortunately, she has passed away. But Andrew Wolf, he's 24. He's in critical condition. And this happened only a couple blocks away from the White House. Now, President Trump says he wants to stop all immigration from third world countries. We will talk about what third world countries are, and maybe you shouldn't say that term anymore. We'll talk about terms like ambush. We'll talk about important words you might see on the IELTS or TOEFL exam, like initial. We'll talk about what the National Guard is, and so much more. If that sounds good to you, please go ahead, hit the like button. It really helps the channel. Subscribe if this is your first time here. Let's watch that news clip together, and the next time you see me, I will be in my studio where I can teach a little better. And it's not so cold and windy.
This dramatic video, obtained exclusively by the Wall Street Journal, shows the moment the gunman ambushed members of the National Guard. Here you can see a revolver in his hand. The video also capturing a guardsman opening fire on the suspect, who's now facing a murder charge.
There are certainly many more charges to come, but we are upgrading the initial charges of assault to murder in the first degree.
Tonight, 24-year-old guardsman Andrew Wolf remains in critical condition, fighting for his life.
Okay, I'm back downstairs, ready to learn. We have the pictures. We'll have the sentences and definitions on the screen. But I do want to mention one more time, I really feel bad for Sarah Beckstrom, her family. She was only 20. I have a 19-year-old daughter. It's right around the holidays here in the United States. It's got to be terrible. But I also want to talk about people from Afghanistan. I have 6 students in my classroom who were born in Afghanistan, and they are some of my favorite students. So just because one person does something bad and they happen to be from a country, that doesn't mean everybody from that country is horrible. So let's get into the first word that they used that I thought might give you trouble. That's dramatic. It comes from the word drama, and it means very sudden, surprising, or emotional. And for each of these, like I said, I'll have a picture for you and a sentence. So let's take a look at the picture first. It looks like something very dramatic is happening at the end of this game. Maybe the football team was down by a score and they scored with very little time left on the clock. There was a dramatic change in the score at the end of the game. Next, we have exclusively, and the news station got the footage of the shooting. They got it exclusively,
shows the moment,
which means nobody else has it. It means only for one person or a group. And if you have ever been to New York City, I find this a lot. The public restrooms in New York City are exclusively for paying customers. This bathroom is exclusively for customers, meaning if you are just walking on the street and you need to use the bathroom, you can't. You need to buy something first. You might also hear this. When people first start dating, they might date like other people. But if you're dating exclusively, that means you're not dating anyone else, only that one person. The couple just started dating, but they're dating exclusively. Now, this was in the thumbnail, ambushed, and it was also in the newscast. So let's talk about what that means. It means to attack someone by surprise from a hiding spot. This happens a lot in the wild. Animals need to eat. The lion ambushed the zebra from the tall grass. So the zebra was just walking by. They didn't see the lion. Looks like a lioness, actually. Looks like it's a female lion. And they were ambushed, just like the National Guardsmen that were in New York, not New York City, in Washington, D.C. And speaking of the National Guard, maybe you don't know what they are. They're part of our military. They are soldiers who help inside the country. So no National Guardsman should be deployed to other countries. It happens sometimes, but most of the time they are here to help inside the country. So during emergencies like floods, some people think that National Guardsmen should not be in Washington, D.C., acting like the police, but the president thinks so, and that's why he deployed them. Oh, hang on just a second. Let's get the sentence before we get to revolver. The National Guard brought food and water after the big storm. And this is mostly what the National Guard is used for. These National Guardsmen were from West Virginia. That is a state that's very close to our national capital. Next, we have revolver. It's just basically another name for a gun, a small gun. So let's get the definition and we'll look at the picture at the same time. A revolver is a small gun with a spinning part that holds bullets. And that spinning part we might call the chamber. The police officer in the old movie used a revolver. Next, they talked about upgrading. Upgrading. A lot of people do this with technology. In fact, this year, I upgraded my microphone. So I hope you can hear me better as I teach this lesson. The official definition, making something better or newer or more serious. And the way they used it in the newscast was more serious. The gunman, I'm not going to say his name. He's not that important. The victims are more important. But the charges for the gunman were upgraded after Sarah Beckstrom died. Maybe they were going to charge him with like manslaughter. We talked about manslaughter in the last English lesson about that horrible fire in Hong Kong. But now they've upgraded his charges to first degree murder. We will talk about first degree murder in just a minute. Take a look at the picture. A couple cell phones there. One is older. And that means, hang on, I got the sentence right here. I am upgrading my phone to the newest model. Next, we have initial. Initial. And I will also use it as an adverb initially. But initial means first, at the beginning. And I think this picture and sentence will help you understand the meaning of this word, initial. My initial idea was bad, but my second idea was great. How about this? Initially, I thought learning English would be easy, but then I found that it was really challenging. Challenging, but fun. And I hope you feel the same way. Also, if you are struggling with English, but right over there, if you are looking for a speaking partner, you can click on that QR code. And right now, for the next 2 days until December 1st, I am offering 20% off speaking sessions with me. You can sign up for 30 minutes or 60 minutes. I can record the conversation we have so you can watch it later, and any questions you might have about improving your English one-on-one, just me and you. Now back to the English lesson. They mention how Andrew Wolf is in critical condition. That means very sick or hurt, in danger of dying. Very scary. I hope he can pull through. In other words, I hope that he will live. I hope that he can recover. The doctors said the patient is in critical condition.
20-year-old Sarah Beckstrom died on Thanksgiving.
She's just passed away. She's no longer with us. She's looking down at us right now.
Adam Carr dated Beckstrom for years, only breaking up recently. He says she didn't want to go to D.C. at first, but ended up enjoying the work.
she'd send pictures all the time, just even patrolling, doing, her duty, and she was happy.
He says Beckstrom hoped her time in the Guard would open doors to a future working in law enforcement.
What should we remember about her?
All just how friendly she was, how big-hearted she was, how she was willing to do anything for anyone, and she never held a grudge against anyone, really.
Meanwhile, tonight, law enforcement officials from coast to coast pouring into the background of the suspect, Ramanala Lochinwal, including executing search warrants on his home in Washington state.
Now, English speakers, native English speakers, use ended up all the time, and I think it could be tricky for people learning English. Ended up means to finally arrive somewhere, usually by mistake or surprise. So take a look at this picture. I did visit Cancun, Mexico earlier this year. Luckily, this did not happen to me. We took the wrong bus and ended up at the beach. How about this? I started learning English thinking that I wouldn't like it, but I ended up really loving to learn English. In the newscast, they also used the term patrolling. Patrolling. It's a verb and it means walking or driving around an area to watch for danger. And in the picture, it looks like we have some police. They might be on patrol or they are patrolling the city. Police cars are patrolling the streets tonight. They also used open doors right there. Sarah was hoping that being in the National Guard would open doors for her in the future. She wanted to become a police officer. So if doors are opened for you, it means to give you new chances for success. Many people believe in the United States that earning a college degree can open doors for you in the future, give you new opportunities. A college degree can open doors to better jobs. Sarah Beckstrom's former boyfriend called her big-hearted. Let's talk about what it means to have a big heart. It means very nice and kind. And in the picture, we have a teacher. It looks like she definitely has a big heart. My teacher is big-hearted. She always helps us. He also said that Sarah never held a grudge. We usually use that verb held or hold. A grudge means staying angry at someone for a long time because of something they did. Now take a look at this picture. I wanted to have a little fun because this story is just so sad. But we have an older sister here, and maybe her younger brother took the last cookie. She held a grudge against her little brother for eating the last cookie. This morning when I woke up, there was a closed pizza box in my kitchen, and I thought, ooh, I could have some cold pizza for breakfast. Please let me know. Do you like having cold pizza for breakfast? But when I opened the box, it was empty. There wasn't any pizza left. But hey, I don't know who in my family ate the last piece, but I'm not going to hold a grudge either. In the newscast, they said the gunman drove from coast to coast. He was once on the West Coast. I think he was in the state of Washington, and he drove to the other coast, the East Coast. That's where Washington, D.C. is. So coast to coast means from one side of the U.S. to the other, or like from one ocean to the other. The plane flew coast to coast from New York to California. If the police are going to search your house or car in the United States, they need a search warrant from a judge. Here's the official definition for search warrants: papers from a judge that let police search a house, or like in the picture, a car. The police had search warrants to look for the stolen money in the suspect's car.
A refugee arrived in the U.S. in 2021, part of a Biden-era program for Afghans that worked with the American military. He worked with the CIA and was granted asylum by the Trump administration in 2025. Now, President Trump calling into question that program, suggesting he would pause all migration from third world countries and examine green card holders from certain countries. Sean Van Diver runs a program that helps Afghans who supported the American military resettle in the U.S. He is worried the actions of one person could put thousands of others in danger.
This man has got to be held accountable to the full extent of the law, but you can't have community punishment for all immigrants because one jerk went and did a crazy thing.
They also used the term asylum in the newscast. That means seeking. We might use that verb. Seeking safety in a new country for people running away from danger. There is a lot of war around the world. There are a lot of dangerous places, and some people want to seek asylum in the United States to stay safe. They asked for asylum because their home country was at war. Next, we have third world countries. To be honest, there are some people who don't like that term, and they might use developing countries instead. But President Trump used third world countries. In other words, like poor countries. People usually say developing countries now. Take a look at the man in the photo. He wants to help build schools in third world countries. When some people come to the United States, they are trying to get a green card. A green card is a card that lets you live and work in the United States forever. So in the picture, it looks like we have a woman, and she was originally from Ukraine. You can see on the lapel of her jacket, there is a small Ukrainian flag. She was so happy when she got her green card. Next, we have resettle. Resettle. Some people will come here to the United States and they will have to resettle from another country. That means to move and start a new home in a new place. Let's make that picture a little bigger. You can see the family had to resettle in a new city after the fire. I think most people want this gunman to be held accountable for his actions, and that means to be responsible for what you did. Some people say that this person should be put to death. Our government might try to seek the death penalty for his actions, for what he did, committing first-degree murder, allegedly. I mean, he has to go to trial. There has to be evidence against him, but it looks like his actions were caught on video. The student, let's make that picture a little bigger. The student was held accountable for cheating on the test. So his teacher caught him red-handed. He had his phone and he was given an F because he was cheating on the test. Congratulations, you made it to the end of another very difficult English lesson. Don't forget, if you would like to be my speaking partner, right there, you can click on that code for more information. If you're looking for more English, right down there is that Hong Kong fire I talked about. Unfortunately, the death toll keeps rising. Thanks so much for watching. See you next time.